Mr. Sportskeeda, secret club, WWE Backlash. I have to work in all the different things we're going to talk about on the show into the theme song every time with bad singing. It's Rings and Rambles on a Monday afternoon, 15 minutes late. Sorry about the delay there. We were getting all of our different things here. I hope this will be good as the Wyatt family was. Yeah, there's a lot of people freaking out about the Wyatt 6 stuff. WWE's been teasing it for weeks. It's so obvious. They've been doing it since right after WrestleMania. And now we have a lot of information. We'll lay out everything that we know, and we'll call that creepy phone number we heard about on air. We'll do that here in a little bit. We'll also talk about WWE Backlash. Very, very successful show for WWE in France. Well received. If you're with us for the first time, don't make it the last time. Slam the like button. Get your questions on screen. Want to hear from you guys. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Some people have been with us for a while. Really appreciate that. Want to hear from you guys. We will answer your questions and different stuff like that. Of course, you guys can also just really, really help us out. And everything that we're doing at Sportskeeda, no matter where you're watching it, just comment and like. Even if you're just watching for a little bit and you go back and watch the whole thing, that really, really helps us out. Or if like you're in a Facebook group with people, share the show there. That really helps as well. Definitely. Who will be in the Wyatt 6? We'll talk about that. When is the Wyatt 6 happening? We will talk about that. There's some clues and different things that people have been able to uncover, and we'll get into those. And this has been really, really fun. This is kind of the fun part when they brought Bray Wyatt back before he unfortunately passed away, was just the puzzle solving that WWE embraced with this. And I'm a sucker for a good LARP, good live action role play here. But a lot to cover here. But other big news from WWE this weekend, Saturday after Backlash aired in France, European time, we had the Kentucky Derby. I was in the studio for Q101 and I had it up and I knew we were going to get an announcement. The Kentucky Derby is basically like an infomercial for horse racing for 90 minutes. And then there's a horse race, a very, very compelling horse race, by the way. One of the more entertaining Kentucky Derbys I've ever seen. Congratulations to Mystic Dan, not to be confused with Magic Mike. But they announce with their big partner, NBC Universal, that WrestleMania will indeed go to Las Vegas. The debate last week was Vegas or Minneapolis, and it's confirmed. A big rollout, and it'll be different dates here. This will be on the 19th and the 20th of April. Usually WWE shoots for those weekends around Easter at the end of March or early April. What do you think of WrestleMania in Las Vegas? I know last week you were like all about it being in Vegas.
Yeah, I'm still liking it.
With me, by the way, I should have done the intro 3 minutes into the show.
All good. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. I've already got buddies hitting me up like, let's meet up in Vegas. Let's go. It's a destination for people to go to, and it's the flights aren't too expensive there most of the time from parts of the nation. And so yeah, I'm excited to meet up with some old friends, experience Vegas for the first time. Really, I've never been there to gamble or party. I've been on the other side of Vegas. I've never been to the Strip or anything. So really excited that it's in Vegas this year for multiple reasons.
The crazy thing is, I'm my age. I've never been to Vegas ever. Just never gone for whatever reason. I know there've been opportunities or this or that. And if I go to a WrestleMania trip, I'm doing a lot of work at a WrestleMania trip. Want to know what you guys are thinking here? Sound off. Steve says he wants WrestleMania at Wembley Stadium. I know there was you had the potential mayor, the incumbent mayor of London in the UK, one of the biggest cities in the UK, the biggest city in the UK, saying he wanted WrestleMania, that was a big thing, that he would campaign on the idea of bringing WrestleMania there as the mayor, which is great. Like, to think of that when you think of like where wrestling was, 30, 40, 50 years ago, now where it is. So it's kind of crazy. And WrestleMania is the event. This is good for the wrestling industry that WrestleMania is in this position and WWE is in this position. I want to hear from some people here. Lenore Cookie saying, some of the French fans need to come to Vegas, show the Americans how to do it. Yeah, they were so loud. They were so loud. Every little thing got everybody in that sold out stadium this past the state arena to lose their minds. I absolutely loved it, by the way.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And I want WrestleMania in the Joe Rogan Stadium. There's a Joe Rogan Stadium.
I didn't know.
Actually, it's going to be held in Allegiant Stadium, home of the Raiders. But when you go to Vegas, there's so many more opportunities to do different things in Vegas. The vignettes, you can film all the different stuff on the strip. You can film different things at different venues. You can do stage shows in all those different venues they have. They have the convention center. They have all the different places you can do that. If you're one of the non-WWE companies, there's a lot of options here for you to run venues there. You have the T-Mobile Arena. You have the MGM Grand. I assume they would run the Raw, the SmackDown, the Hall of Fame there. I would hope they do something different with the Hall of Fame this year. I would like to see the after this past year's Hall of Fame where I was at it, where it was great to see Paul Heyman up there, but then afterwards everyone left because it was just too long. I would put the Hall of Fame in a different venue. I really, really would put the Hall of Fame in a different venue.
The Sphere.
And oh my God. A lot of people are saying you got to do something with the Sphere, that giant. How big is that screen? How big?
Oh, it's massive. I mean, I've only seen clips of like concerts in there, and I need to get there. But I did see that someone said UFC 306 is going to be in the Sphere, and then they were hoping that
they haven't confirmed that yet, though, have they?
Oh, they haven't confirmed. Okay, they haven't confirmed.
No,
but they were hoping that if the possibility of that is going to happen, that maybe a Raw or SmackDown could happen in there too. I don't think so, but it would be cool to get the Hall of Fame in the Sphere, though.
And you have TKO, the ownership of the company now, Endeavor. They own UFC. We already know that you're going to get an NXT event, a premium live event from them in June, coming up here in just about a month. And that'll be at the UFC Apex Center, their training center. That's where they kind of did their fighting, their pay-per-views and different things during the pandemic when they can control the space. So that's their performance center, basically, for UFC. And it doesn't mean all the fighters train there. But obviously, I think you're going to see more of that. You're going to see a lot more of that in terms of how it goes. I want to hear how people feel about Vegas, though. Big roll-up by WWE to do this during the Kentucky Derby. You wanted a lot of mainstream fans. You wanted a lot of people who have a lot of money. Kentucky Derby is a you go and you pay to be there type scene. And WrestleMania, to a degree, is like that for wrestling fans. And want to hear from you guys. People saying the Sphere would be good. People saying they should do Hall of Fame on a Thursday. I agree. Hall of Fame on a Thursday would be great. It'd be absolutely, and then you let SmackDown be SmackDown. You know,
exactly.
I also think NXT Takeover would be great on a Thursday. I think that would be the perfect spot for it. Instead of it being, the last 2 years, it's been like Saturday afternoon. No, 3 years. It's been like Saturday, Sunday afternoon, and it'll get a crowd. But I would rather it be like in a smaller space. You have multiple venues you can run multiple venues. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just have to run the arena and the stadium, the convention center. Run it all. It's Vegas. It's all right there. I don't know. Look at me. Make it more expensive. You know. Here's Joshua Dice with a comment. That's awesome. It's in Las Vegas. Minnesota messed up their chances. Well, let's talk about that. Minneapolis, Minnesota. You had elected officials there. Going on the record with some reporters, though they wouldn't say who they were, about how they were going to do this big thing, and they've been pitching for this. I have talked to some people who are aware of the situation of the Minneapolis pitch, and they have been very, very forward about getting this and wanting it. But I guess the whole situation changed, and this is according to multiple reports today, though. For them, it changed when Endeavor got WWE. When they got WWE and they already own UFC, and they've done some events in Vegas that were already successful. I believe they had a Money in the Bank there, and they had a SummerSlam. And those were good. And they only ran, like, I think for the SummerSlam, they didn't even run the full capacity at Allegiant, but they did good business with that one. They're going to run full capacity at this. This is WrestleMania, and it's going to be good. Also, you had the one in Philadelphia this past year, that Saturday night one. It was in the 50s, you know, and that was a cold air, open air venue. I don't think you're going to have that same experience in Las Vegas. So it does make me worry. I don't want them going the Super Bowl route, you know, as a Midwesterner. I don't want them going the Super Bowl route where it's like, we're not going to go to a cold weather place in April or March when we can go to a dome stadium and be fine. Like, Philadelphia was fun. It was very easy to get around. I enjoy that. I don't think Vegas is going to be cheaper than Philadelphia in terms of getting around, but I don't know. You're down for this? You think there's a lot of things they can do here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just more down for it just because it's convenient for me, and I already know a lot of my friends are coming out. But yeah, you made a good point. It is going to cost a pretty penny to go and participate in a lot of the activities around town. So that is a downfall, but I'm with you. You know, I hope that they don't go away from the Midwest too much and, keep it in Miami or somewhere else moving forward because
I went to a WrestleMania in Miami.
how
Was
was it?
not easy to get around. Everything's super spread out.
Yeah.
Vegas is kind of like that though too. Like
Yeah.
everyone thinks, oh, the strip, everything's there. Yeah, everything's there. But if you're going to like anything off strip, that's like 20 minutes, 20,
Oh
15
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Like I've been told by people, it's not too bad, but you are going to be, doing the shuttle buses and the Ubers and Lyfts, which I did in Philadelphia. But the sports district that Philadelphia had, the Wells Fargo, the Link, and they were all right next to each other. They're all right
Nice.
there. And you knew where the convention center was. It was right in the center down. It wasn't too bad. You could handle it, and they had good bars and infrastructure and everything you would want for it. Vegas is going to have that and Fultz. So that's my thing. And another thing about Vegas, though, too, that I'm told is it's walkable. You can walk a 10-minute thing to something, and it isn't the worst in the world. So I'm not opposed to that. Great job. Keep it up. The good work. Bring Uncle Howdy back. Yeah, we'll be talking about Wyatt 6 here in a minute. We'll lay out all the different details, and we'll be little 13-year-old boys being creeped out by a phone number that we call, right? And I want to hear from all your different takes here. This has been longer than the White Rabbit tease. I don't know if it was longer than the White Rabbit tease, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That went on for a long time.
It went on for a while.
I think this has been about what? Just over a month. They did it right that Monday Night Raw after Mania.
Yeah, hasn't been.
What about this comment here from Josh Craigle? What do you think here?
It says Mania in Vegas will be the culmination of long-term storytelling. The tribal chief versus the final boss for the head of the table. That's the story, and that's going to main event WrestleMania. Roman beating Rock is the end game of the Bloodline story.
We're already talking about what the main event of next year's WrestleMania is going to be. It's not a bad situation to be in. Not a bad situation for them to be in at all. Let's get into it here. Let's talk about WWE Backlash. Big show. They played the LDLC Arena in Lyon, France. Big house for them. Big house for them. I got to see the pre-show, and I just finished I'm just about to finish the first match. I had another bachelor party this weekend. It's wedding season here in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And bad reason for me to miss a wrestling show is drinking and all those different things. But just watching this crowd was bonkers. I talked to some people that went to the show in Europe, and they said this crowd never stopped. They never let up. There was just it was like pyrotechnics. It reminded me of Puerto Rico and Clash of Castle. These foreign crowds, man, they don't get big shows like this all the time. And now you're giving it to them, and now they're losing their mind. What did you think of the show overall? I know there were some predictable outcomes here, but I really think everyone who comes in and they're really fickle and predictability. I was like, I didn't hear anyone leaving the show saying it was a bad show. I had a ton of people who were jaded wrestling fans, and much more on the AEW side said they were inclined to watch the show because they heard how big and crazy the crowd was.
Yeah, and I think the crowd made a huge difference. The card was really good. There were some good matches there, definitely, but the crowd was so into it. American crowds, you need to step your game up, is all I have to say, because it was phenomenal just to witness in my living room. I was like, holy crap, they were getting me into it, but I was in awe to see how into it they were, doing like chants of their home country and whatnot. I mean, it was amazing to see. So, I'm all for, besides the fact of me being able to attend, I'm all for more PLEs overseas, just because, give us some competition over here and make America want to step up their live of crowd game, because, we've been spoiled, and Europe, and they deserve it over there. They are proving that they deserve it with the way that they act when we come over, when WWE goes over there.
We saw it last year with the Elimination Chamber show in Montreal.
Yeah.
And that audience has wanted, and they got Sami Zayn in the main event. And it was just an incredible experience just to watch them react. Puerto Rico doing that with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest.
Yeah.
And you got to see it recently when they did Clash at the Castle with Drew. That was the year before last, right?
Yeah.
They're going to go to Saudi Arabia in a few weeks with King and Queen of the Ring. I do think they get some unique reactions there, and those the crowds in Saudi Arabia have become more adept, and you can tell that we only get it once or twice a year, and we love it, right?
Yeah.
But they're also going to be Clash of the Castle coming up here in Scotland, which is a real, another soccer premium league town, and they're going to lose their mind. And they're going to be Bash in Berlin, Germany. Those audiences have a different vibe where they understand they're a part of the ceremony of the event, and they will play their role if the show is developing for them. Now, if you go out and you put out a sour show in front of that crowd, they're just as much as they're on board, they will be off board. And so they really dictate it in a way. You're right. I do think they bring it up here. Want to get to ratings of the show, though. Strong show. Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles. Strong match. I thought this one kind of exceeded some expectations. Wasn't the match of the year. You're not going to top what Cody got to have at WrestleMania because that was just so special. And I also love the opener. The opener was amazing. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga, Solo Sikoa starts with the street fight. Really ramp up that crowd. Really give that crowd a lot more. Make it seem like the match is going to get called off, and then go in that direction. There were a lot of just that crowd. The crowd is the MVP of the start of the show. Watching them, hearing them react to things was insane.
Yeah, and then
Steve is giving it a 9 out of 10. Ozzy's giving it a 9.5 out of 10.
We can't forget Tonga Loa coming in.
Yeah.
And making his appearance as well. Making the new bloodline even stronger, I guess. But the first match I thought was great. And Tama Tonga, his back after the match, when you see him walking out, you're just like, holy crap, he took a beating. But yeah, I love that match as well. The women's tag team match was his first match
in WWE.
He looked good, man. And but yeah, I thought that was a great opener. And then the women's tag team match as well, I thought was good. Putting the titles on Bianca and Jade. I like that. Just get a title change, give the people something new. I did like the Kabuki Warriors as the tag team champs, so I will say that I like them as a tag team in general. But
John Roser saying 8 out of 10 because all the title matches were predictable. Predictability is not a bad thing. Okay, you have to stop thinking that if it's predictable and there's no twists and turns in the delivery of it and the outcome is still what you thought it was, but the ride to get there isn't. I thought they tried to make things as interesting as they possibly could. Okay, without having to do run-ins with every match, and I think the audience really, really helped them get there here. People saying I can't believe WWE had a lot of releases. Yeah, there were plenty of undercard releases and different things like that too.
Yes,
of course, Gable Steveson has been let go, which was a lot of people were talking about that. Talking about the Bloodline, Tonga Loa from New Japan joining Tama Tonga, and other people expecting this. Jacob Fatu. Now, Jacob Fatu is probably the most athletic super heavyweight right now in pro wrestling. This is a guy who's North 3 bills who's doing like moonsaults off the top rope. I mean, this guy moves. People used to talk about Bam Bam Bigelow in the 80s and 90s, or like, for a while, Vader, he slowed down a bit, but was still fantastically violent. But those big men who can move, Jacob Fatu is that type of guy. If he comes to WWE, this is a guy he's doing like power slams off the top rope, like all this insane stuff. And he looks like an even more faster Umaga, I guess is the best way of describing him. And he's from that lineage. So, I mean, he's a part of the Fatus. Easy pickup, reportedly signed with WWE the week of WrestleMania. I think he comes in at some point. But as we've seen, when they introduced Solo, they introduced him in a run-in. They introduced Tonga in a run-in. That's kind of what this is building this group up. And Tonga, we were all expecting Jacob at this show.
Yeah.
So we kind of got to swerve here, and now the depth of this roster that they have of Samoans, man.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the ref getting pulled out, I couldn't see who it was initially who pulled the ref out, but I was in my mind, I was like, Jacob Fatu, here he is, and then it ended up being Tonga Loa instead. So it's the bloodline for a reason, So
someone claiming to be Cody Rhodes in our comments. No, I'm sorry, guys. I don't think Cody Rhodes is watching our show. Asking for friend requests. Also, I don't think Cody Rhodes needs to ask you for a friend request.
No,
by the way.
no.
I
You're getting
don't think that's
scammed.
going to happen.
You're getting scammed.
What do you think of Solo Sikoa as the new tribal chief? It appears like they're teasing that, and we haven't seen Roman since WrestleMania.
Somebody's got to take over while he's gone. I guess Solo just stepped up and, forcefully took it. And we're going to see that all culminate here in a little bit. But yeah, so somebody had to step up. I was kind of surprised they made it Solo Sikoa because he was never talking before. His win-loss record wasn't the greatest, but now he's emerging. Once he was a powerhouse, don't get me wrong, but now he's going to start stacking those wins. He will become more of a force to reckon with. And I'm excited to see where they go with it.
People are calling a Bloodline versus Bloodline war game. There's a Bloodline Civil War. Well, who's on Roman's side if he comes back and they're not with him? Are these guys all with Rock? Like there's a lot to be seen, and that's kind of the compelling thing. Like I'm excited for that. Yeah. Cody Rhodes successful over AJ Styles. What did you think of that one?
I thought it was a great match. AJ, great performance. Really put Cody over. Cody had a great performance as well too. It was just a phenomenal match. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I'll say that I expected Cody to win, but there was great moments in it. There was a moment where I thought AJ kind of took a bump. It was Cody did a Cody cutter off the top rope, and when he landed on AJ's shoulders, man, his back kind of buckled. But I mean, I'm sure he's okay. But I was like, oh man. But it was a good overall match. Cody came away victorious. He looked like he kind of felt bad for AJ after he won, and then the title was put in his hands, and the smile, the huge smirk came on his face. And I'm kind of with the Undertaker here. I'm seeing a little heel in Cody, and I think that it wouldn't. I'm telling you, it wouldn't be a bad move for him.
I don't know. Stick with it. We need more Captain America. We've had a villain at the top of the card with the championship for years. We don't need to just go back and have a bad guy to have a bad guy. Jason Morris, will Jimmy Uso have a match against Solo Sikoa at Crown Jewel? Jimmy, I don't know. Jimmy's been the odd man out, right? They kicked him out of the group, right?
Yes.
I think Jimmy's going to go crawl with his tail between his legs back to his brother on Monday Night Raw. That's what I think is going to happen. But that'll be interesting. Of course, King and Queen of the Ring going down at Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
That's going to be in about a month's time, couple weeks now. They're coming up on it real fast, right? No, that's the 25th. So this is 25th. A few weeks. Yes. And of course, that's right where we're jumping into on this week's Monday Night Raw. They have you seen the matches? They announced, I've never seen them in years announce this many matches in advance for a Monday Night Raw. These are the matches. They're giving you the entire first round of the Queen and King of the Ring tournament coming up tonight on Monday Night Raw. You guys will be watching this maybe afterwards, though. Queen of the Ring first round match: Zoe Stark versus Ivy Nile. It'll be Shayna Baszler versus Lena Vega. Lyra Valkyrie making her Raw debut against Asuka. Tough draw there. And you also see Io Sky versus Natalya. On the men's side, King of the Ring, it'll be Drew McIntyre versus Finn Balor.
That's crazy to start it off in the first round.
Yes. Kofi Kingston versus Rey Mysterio. Ricochet versus Ilya Dragunov. Congratulations, Ricochet, by the way, the new WWE Speed champion. He's the champion of Twitter. And then Gunther versus Sheamus. That's on television. So that is a stacked Monday Night Raw. One of those matches, probably more than a few of those matches, are not going to get more than 3 or 4 minutes on time. But I would hope that WWE understands, hey, there's some big things here in terms of expectations online. I think riding high out of a big pay-per-view, keeping the momentum going, giving some people some fun matches. Also, this isn't the first tournament that Triple H has had. They've done a couple of them, right?
Right, yeah.
He's taken over. But there's a lot of people I know in the WWE ranks that want the tournaments to mean more. The whole Speed concept was a tournament that you watch on social media, and every match is consequential. It isn't just a match for match sakes. It's action-based. This is different. I think they're going to want to try and tell some different stories in here and really build out that depth that WWE has now. They have a lot of depth. All the people we told you about, they have something here and there or some type of character to play with to build upon. It's not just nothing here. So people already asked me about Clash at the Castle. I don't know. I'm trying to just get through King and Queen of the Ring. Yeah, people telling me that Tim saying here that Usos will rejoin Roman, either The Rock or Jacob. Well, and everyone just predicting that Roman's going to come back babyface. I don't know if that's the case either. Too.
Who knows?
So we'll see here. Will we get a big QR code? I think you're getting another QR code here in the entire Wyatt 6 thing here. We're gonna lay out what we know, what I can keep track of with this Wyatt 6 stuff here in just a minute. So if you're just tuning in for that, we're gonna have that for you as well. If you're with us for the first time, don't make it the last time. Go ahead and hit that like button. Let's double the reactions that we have right now. If you've already hit it once, you can hit it again, especially if you're watching live. If you're watching on demand, let us know your ratings of Backlash, 1 to 10. I haven't seen a single rating in the comments here that's been under 7.
Yeah,
so a lot of people really enjoying this here. The reviews are really strong, and I've seen the cage match, which is sort of like a Rotten Tomatoes of wrestling. They've been giving it good reactions and different stuff like that. We'll get into some questions here. We'll get into some questions and different stuff at the end of the show here. So stick around. If you have a question, you posted already, I will get to them. Here. So let's get into what's going on with Wyatt 6. These teases have been more evident. There was clips that got revealed that sent you to a QR code that you got to go to a creepy house. All right, so the house tied to all the different things with Bray Wyatt, who sadly passed away more than a year and a half ago now. And when he was reintroduced to WWE and brought back to the company, they did it with Rob Fee, who oversaw things. Everything with Bray Wyatt is about occultism and storyline and lore and a lot of things you can get lost on. And how can you get people to talk about that things? By making them go on these puzzle hunts online. I love this stuff. I absolutely adore this type of storytelling and building up, using the audience to be your megaphone, right? And when he came out at Extreme Rules more than a year and a half ago, Bray Wyatt got this huge reaction. And it was hard to sustain that momentum and that magic, right? Because it was so special and unique. I think they're trying to do that again here. The expectation is that we will get Uncle Howdy, portrayed by Bo Dallas, who is Bo Rotunda, that is Bray Wyatt's brother. And they will kind of keep that magic alive. Now, initially when this was introduced, I heard some people say, no, you can't do this without Bray Wyatt. But ever since they started doing these QR codes, where you haven't even seen the characters again yet, you know who you have an idea who they are, and we'll kind of break down who we think they're going to be, right? I haven't seen many people oppose it.
Right.
No. And this is a fan thing. Maybe they do it on delivery and it just doesn't work, okay? But I'm seeing more people being like, hey, yeah, you should do this. Like that, you should be able to make this work, or you should be able to at least try it, you know? And WWE has so much content, they should be able to try something like this. How are you feeling going into this, man?
Yeah, I like it. You know, it adds a little mystery to it. You know, you're always looking for that QR code. I think it adds some excitement for people, and they are more excited about this than not. So I'm liking it, and I can't wait to see what's revealed here. Now, you know, there's the rumors going around and all these codes and clues. So yeah, I like the mysterious thing about this, and I like how they're going to pay tribute, it seems, to Bray Wyatt in a way here. So I'm on board. I'm on board.
So the group will be led by him. That is the expectation here. And other members that are expected to join this group have some type of connection to it. Eric Rowan, he's the sheep they've referenced in some clues here. Okay, when he came back and they brought Bray back and they did the big reveal, they flashed all these different characters that are from his past or incarnations of them, and they had people kind of portray these characters. There was a possibility that they would be some members, and they never kind of played that up. And then they played Uncle Howdy as this other person there. We know that Eric Rowan reportedly has signed a deal with WWE. So there's an expectation for him to come back. Alexa Bliss had an on-screen role with him. She was a part of one of those QR codes where they did letters, and people kind of broke down the letters by each person's name. Other names, these are some of them getting a little bit more interesting and have not been associated with Bray Wyatt in the past, but or with any member of the group. Another one, interesting, Joe Gacy from NXT. Now, apparently he played the Huskus role. He was Huskus when they did this. But when he wore a mask at that Extreme Rules reveal, but they never revealed it on television. So this develops and kind of makes more sense. Joe Gacy, he was in the Schism group on NXT. He can play these type of roles. Like he fits.
Yes.
That doesn't, that makes sense.
Definitely.
Another one that would be interesting. We haven't seen her on television, WWE, for a long, long time. Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
Nikki Cross was in the Sanity group. There's been some references and all these different things about people being left out of their families. They're lost sheep. Eric Rowan was lost. Now he's been found. Another shepherd. So here is another cult leader finding all of these lost, broken toys and bringing them together.
Yep. So
this is interesting. All of this is here. What's been the most tantalizing clue for you so far in all of this?
I the one QR code where it says we believed, that pretty much gave it away right there. But I want to hear the phone call. And don't we have?
Oh, you want to hear the phone call?
I want to hear the phone call.
Well, this is another one. This is what people kind of found this weekend with Backlash, and there was a QR code with that. And I started to play it for you before the show, and then we were like, no, let's call it live on air. Let's see if we can call it live on air. So you get this phone number, and it is very, very creepy and very, very weird. I'm going to call it here live on air and get scared.
The shepherd left 99 others to search for the one sheep that had gone missing. She rejoiced when he found it. But what happened when my precious sheep went missing? None of you cared. Their families didn't care. Their friends didn't care. You let the darkness take them. Left them shackled in hell all alone. But I set them free. They are my family now. And we will do anything to protect our family. I can't wait for you to see what they've become. It's beautiful.
So,
okay.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of AI voiceovers, but I'll take that one there.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah, the audio sounds like it's reverse. It's not. It's just a type-to-speak text program.
Yep.
And people saying Nikki is being brainwashed. I'm pretty sure they're all being brainwashed or enlightened.
Ooh.
Was I brainwashed before? Yeah. So it's all kind of lining up, and it's long-term storytelling, and this is 100% Rob Fee and a Marvel type build-up, and where this can go is quite interesting. And I think the Wyatt 6 characters and that lore and that presentation is really designed for the sci-fi crowd. Like, this is the type of show WWE would have wanted to do 20 years ago, but the pieces weren't there. And so there's another clue that revealed XX25 or XXV, however the Roman numerals break down. So that would have been May 25th.
May 25th,
so I think the expectation is that they show up in some form or another at the King and the Queen show.
Yep.
I'm up here on the 25th, and that would be the weekend of Memorial Day. Interesting. And another thing, thank you, Chris. I was going to bring this up. That's the same number they used for the Bray Wyatt return, where you would call it and you can hear where you would hear a doctor. And so also another member, we haven't talked about him yet, wasn't Dexter Lumis.
Right.
Yep. Dexter Lumis was in the way. He's lost his way. He was in the Way faction NXT. He hasn't been on television since June of 2023. So yes, he is lost. So it's very interesting. I enjoy all of the teases. Hyman B saying it lines up. There has always been space for supernatural stuff.
Oh,
if
yeah.
they play it right, it could be huge.
Yes.
Interesting. I'm just interested. And that's what you want.
That's
what you want.
Yeah.
No, I had people who were promoters saying anticipation is the greatest currency to get people to come to your show. If you can get them to anticipate what you're going to do, you've already got them at least on the verge of wanting to know. They don't want to see it happen. They at least want to know, so you can really spiral that into things and snowball things. So the momentum is there. Another thing is this is for a really weird intersection of fans that kind of come in and out. I think a lapsed fan responds to something like this.
Oh,
It's interesting they chose to do this after WrestleMania. Not do it in a build up at WrestleMania, big reveal at WrestleMania. There's already a ton of things at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
They're doing this at a Saudi Arabia show where people kind of just poo-poo on that even being a thing sometimes. Now they're going to give you something, and they're going to give you a reveal. And if you're a hardcore fan, you're going to get a payoff.
Yep.
You know, and I'm interested by that. I'm really, really interested by that. So good on them. Good on them.
I think it was a smart move. Definitely hold after WrestleMania, keep the fans intrigued because some people, you know, die out, and especially the casual fans. So this is something, like you said, will keep people around. I like it. I think it's a good move by them.
It'll be interesting. All those guys are compelling, big superstar characters.
Yeah.
We'll say this: none of them known for their big matches, though. You know,
True.
Alexa Bliss kind of had some great matches here and there. They're known to be character workers. All of them are very, very character worker based. Eric Rowan, good hand, good guy in tag team matches, was in some great multi-man matches, but none of them known for individual matches. I think the sum of their parts, though, gets to be very intriguing. And it's a lot of resources tied to something. So that's the one part that I do think, hey, that makes me, you know, iffy about it. People said the same thing about Bray. Like, he's a good wrestler. He's not a bad wrestler, but he isn't like the guy, you know, when the bell rings, he's going to have the 5-star classics. No, he's a character worker. And you need that. You need that variety. You need that variety of people where there isn't just a pure athleticism is their show, you know.
Right.
And here we go for Jake's. He goes, Jake K rules with a Z. That's how you know it's serious. I have a hair on the microphone. This sounds super cool. Can't wait for the new Wyatt family. Big cool faction waiting for greatness. There's a lot of factions in WWE.
There is. There's a ton. I mean,
There's a ton.
It does look like we might get a breakup there, though, or some kind of feud between the Judgment Day. I'm not sure. You said you didn't see the whole show yet, but at the end of the match, Finn Balor and JD McDonough start to attack, Jey Uso, and Damian Priest pushes him off, says, "What the hell are you doing?" You know, gets in their face and all this stuff. So we've seen it coming, but definitely could see a little breakup there happening between the Judgment Day.
Did you catch the little clue last week they did backstage? I love this. Triple H is the right people in his ear. I was talking to some people that used to write for WWE, and there were so many different things they told me about the Wyatt is all about long-term, little things. The resources to make all this stuff, it is not a lot of resources to do this. But the resources to execute them across all these different platforms in a very specific way on air, that is.
Yep.
But like simple things they've been doing, like in the background, you bring up the Judgment Day, they teased the Liv Morgan thing. Was Liv Morgan going to try and swoon Dominic away from the Judgment Day, where Mommy, Rhea Ripley, who she injured and put on the shelf, she sought revenge on them. Now I will take, it's not over. I'm going to take everything from you. All right, great line. I'm going to take everything from you. Everything includes your own little dirty Dom. She's going to take your boy from you, who's injured himself, so he can't wrestle. He can't focus on wrestling. Nope. You don't need one arm to cheat on your girlfriend, man. That's the sad part of it, right?
Yeah.
And so they had this. They were interviewing someone. It was like, "This is coming up later in the night. How do you feel about this match?" Later, and in the background, you could see Liv Morgan leave her room. And then 10 seconds later, Dominic Mysterio left her.
You dirty dog.
I was like, dirty Dom doing dirty, dude. Dirty Dom. He was like, Liv Morgan is awful. No, Liv Morgan's a heel, dude. Liv Morgan's a heel. All right. All you mommy followers who are freaking out and just simping for anything that goes on her Instagram and calm down. Wipe your mouths and boo. All right. Wipe your mouths and boo. All right.
Oh man.
Heroes. So heroes are not heroes if you don't have villains. All right.
True.
I'm on board for this. This is ultimate. This is perfectly executed trash soap opera stuff. And then the match, awesome. I stole your man, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I love that. I'm on board for it. Love you guys. People saying shush. I'm getting shush. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoy the show, go ahead and hit the like button. We covered all these different topics. Nothing popping off in AEW this week. They're waiting for that TV contract. Hopefully that news gets announced soon. I do want to talk about this though. The TV rights. I always talk about TV rights. Can we cover TV rights stuff here?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
The NBA TV rights. This is something that is really, 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 really big, and I think affects AEW more than even their own performance. Is what's going on here. NBA TV rights deal targets $76 billion payout, 3 times their current pack. NBA has been a part of TNT Warner Broadcasting for nearly 40 years in one way or another. And it looks like this way they would have this issue where they wouldn't be able to compete with what else is being offered here. Also, Warner Brothers Discovery owns TNT TBS. That's where you get AEW television. And how that deal works out for the NBA really impacts what Warner Brothers is going to spend with AEW and whether or not they're going to get more or less. So it's 3 times more than the league's current 11-year deal. A lot of money there. It would break up, though, basically content between Walt Disney Company, Amazon, and potentially NBC. They're at the table. The deals reportedly was worth $2.6 billion a year for Disney. Amazon would fork over $1.8 billion. The terms for what comes from NBC and Comcast is different. This leaves room for a third person to be in the kind of have the other package from the NBA. There's enough games there. The NFL's like this. NFL's networks, right?
Yep.
Comcast is prepared to fork over $2.5 billion to get the NBA away from TNT, owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. These 3 deals would lead to the league taking home nearly $7 billion annually in the deal. Wow, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Now, what do you like? How does this work out? Like, if they leave Warner Brothers Discovery, I guess AEW can sign a new deal, but their deals, and some people say, no, AEW is going to get $1 billion. I don't think they're going to get $1 billion.
I don't think so either. I don't know.
I think they'll get more, just because the rights in general for live content are worth more, but I don't think it'll be $1 billion. No, if it's $1 billion, great. I heard people saying that, but the ratings have been down since people were talking about that $1 billion number, and TV ratings, which are highly subjective, but they're still the metric you have to play off of. I think it puts them in a tough position, and I also know Tony Khan wants streaming to be a part of their next TV deal, and I think the fans really, really want that too. If I had HBO Max for $10 a month and I knew I was getting at least next day streaming of Dynamite, or I could stream Dynamite Live. I don't think they're going to get out of pay-per-view. I really, really don't think. Maybe they'll do some specials, and things like that. Or this pay-per-view will be here, and then this will be like a big pay-per-view and stuff like that too. So,
yeah, I would like to see them go somewhere to where they get some streaming. I want the catalog. I want to go back and watch some matches here and there, and not have to search it up on YouTube. I mean, you can see them, but you know what I mean. How it is on Peacock and everything right now.
Peacock. But I mean, the problem with this though is the negotiation window, I believe, is almost done with Warner Brothers Discovery. I know they've expressed their desire to want to be there.
Yeah.
But what else is out there that AEW can do right now? They had a potential to put Ring of Honor, this other brand that they spent $30 million on. They have that great catalog. That's a catalog you can sell to a streamer. But to put that fourth tier show, what they have now, when they're already the small number 2 company, they had an offer to put that on CW, apparently. NXT got that deal.
Yeah.
And I think part of it was, no, I want to sell this all together. Now the word is Warner Brothers not feeling this Ring of Honor thing. Yeah. Maybe we would like to buy that for streaming or whatever, but a weekly show, no. We don't know if we need to dedicate ourselves to that.
So where do you think it goes?
I mean, a while ago I thought they would stay. Like if NBA stays a little bit with it. Another thing with the NBA, you break up NBA and the TNT. Like that show, that talk show.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's huge.
Massive.
And also the deal with the NBA wouldn't start for another 2 years, by the way, or at least another year and a half. So people think we need an AEW network. You don't need an AEW network. They have Ring of Honor television or Honor Club, and I don't think enough people get on board with that, by the way. But I think they're affected by this because their TV partner is negotiating a multi-billion-dollar deal, potentially. And if they lose it, also Warner Brothers is up for a possible merger. So I mean, like,
that's right.
and NBC is up for a possible merger. And why am I talking about these things? And people saying AEW on FX. That's true.
That could be
Fox is
something.
going to be getting out of the wrestling game.
Yeah.
You know, if they wanted to try something on cable and really make it work, but I don't think Fox is going to put up the same amount of money they put up for television, for wrestling on television, let alone wrestling on cable, that they did a couple of years ago, especially for AEW. If it was WWE, it's brand recognition. That isn't a shot at AEW. It's just the way it is, right?
Yeah. Yep.
People saying Kevin is a mark. Tell me why I'm a mark, Lou. I would love to know. I love to know why I'm a mark. My name is Kevin. I don't know why you would call me Mark. Do I have two first names? People saying Kevin do Dr. Evil. $1 billion. I say no. 1 billion times no. People saying AEW on Spike TV. Spike TV doesn't.
Spike TV.
How about AEW on True TV? That actually has been talked about.
Really?
I've heard some people kind of speculatively say, because True TV is a part of Warner Brothers Discovery, so they would be a part of it. People saying I'm a Dave Meltzer mark.
All right.
I'll take it. And other people with here, someone should buy a wrestling only cable show, like how ESPN has 2 channels. You know, with streaming though, it's all out the window. You kind of already Pluto.tv, people have that. And like with streaming, there's what is a cable channel in 2024? Yeah. What is that? You know, so
yeah,
that's another challenging part of it is what is cable television look like in 3 or 4 years? So I don't know. How do you feel about this? Is it annoying? Like how they break all this up and it goes to different channels and this service and you got to get that service, this thing, and how do you feel about it?
You know, I honestly,
I was going to sign off 5 minutes ago, but then that's just topic.
I mean, you can keep going. I would honestly they should probably stay. I don't know what they should do right now. I feel like they cornered themselves by not taking that deal with the CW, you know, that
I do, that's just reported, but I know enough.
Right.
I know enough people who reported that story and worked on it and talked to them.
Right.
So, you know, and CW is in a different situation. They're owned by a smaller company called Nexstar. Yeah. And they were strategic about spending money on live sports, and they weren't going to buy. We can't afford Raw or SmackDown, but hey, that NXT show, here's $60 million for that show. You know, that's a different play. You know, and they know where they are in the game too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if that's something that AEW wanted to do since we're on prestige cable, TNT. You know, everyone knows TNT. They know TDS. They know WCW with TNT. You know,
yeah.
And there's been a lot of that. So,
yeah, they might.
Also, I want to know what you think about this though too. If you're AEW, you're running Double or Nothing in Las Vegas, putting a pretty good card here together. You know. But the annual thing they've built up for 5 years now is Double or Nothing is in Las Vegas in the spring. And WWE is going to run Allegiant Stadium.
Oh, man.
Like a month before you're there. Do you stay in Las Vegas next year or do you move it? If you're AEW, because you're like, I mean, mind you, it's not going to be the same weekend, right? It's not. Right. We're not trying to play a stadium. We're not. It's not like AEW is going to try and sell out Allegiant Stadium a month after WWE. I don't think they're going to do that. Don't think about doing that, by the way.
Right.
So what do you? If you're Tony Khan, you're just like, come on, let me have Las Vegas. Come on.
I mean, he's got to be upset about it because what if it's a month afterwards? Who's going to want to fly to Vegas? I mean, there are people who go back to Vegas.
It's a different crowd.
Quite frequently. It is. I mean? It is a different crowd. Yeah. It is,
but the bleed over, the Venn diagram of a WrestleMania fan, a Double or Nothing fan. Like if you're telling me you and I are in a group chat and we're talking to the boys, like, hey, are we going to get together and go to this? Like you've had a bunch of people do that. I had a lot of people bring this up to me.
Yeah,
a lot. Like I was on the radio and I had people texting me, like saying, like, hey, I just heard I saw the Kentucky Derby. I cut an Instagram reel for Sportskeeda. They said, hey, once you see it, cut one. Right, jumped on it. 11,000 people. So, and there's more in Vegas. WrestleMania is a big WWE, a lot of crossover Laps fans. Oh, yeah. I don't think AEW has the type of crowd. They have their crowd. Their crowd likes going to Vegas every year. But is that crowd going to go like, I'll go to Mania this year. You know, I'll just go check out WWE again.
I think it affects it. I think it does. I think it'll have not a huge major impact, but but I think there's going to be an impact, and if they decide to stay in Vegas. But I mean, why would you leave? This is your pay-per-view that you advertise in Vegas. I mean, Tony Khan, he's taking shots at WWE every chance that he gets. Why would he back down now? You know, it's
or play. The thing is, AEW's never played off of WWE on a weekend. They did Ring of Honor, Supercard, which has always been a thing. I went to those before. Like, that's different. You know, like Tony Khan was at the show. That's different. It's a different thing to do that. They've never gone and said, hey, we're going to bring AEW to where WrestleMania is the same weekend and do it. Even when Cody was there, no, we're going to let them have that weekend, let them be in their area. There's enough independent companies that glom on and do that. And there's nothing wrong with glomming on, by the way, for those independent companies. For AEW, though, it's like, no, we got to really prove that we're our own thing. At this point, though, you know, like at this point, like hey, you're not drawing, you're playing these towns, you're drawing 3. They're selling out pay-per-views. You know, this Double or Nothing show is going to do real well. Revolution did well, right?
Yes.
But I mean, like, come on, you know. Let's get into some questions. I was not going to do them, but I saw some here. Here we go. Here's one for you. John H. Franklin Jr. Is WWE taking too far with the Bloodline story? It's been going on too long. How many years into this are we now? 2020-ish?
Yeah, it's been some years now. You know, I think that they're eventually going to end it, but it is getting to that point. But I like the angle that they're going with now. We're waiting for a Roman Reigns comeback, so keep us intrigued with this new bloodline and maybe possibly a civil war. I'm still on board with it, but yes, I can see.
I think you can cool it. You can cool it and bring it back.
Yeah,
you know, you have so much time, you have so much content. It's certainly not cooling off now. No. You know, but if it's hot, why turn it off? You know what I mean? Like so. But distance makes the heart grow fonder, right? So I mean, the fact that Roman isn't there, you're just kind of waiting for Roman to show up. It was the same thing with Sammy, though. With Sammy, you were waiting for him to turn, right? And when he did, you anticipated it. Anticipation makes you want to see it. Oh, it's so predictable, but you don't care if it's the payoff is so good. The payoff at WrestleMania was predictable but good, right? So what's the problem then? You're really just I just want to say something sucks. Then let me find the, you know, if enough people feel good about it and you feel bad about it, no, you should just be able to be like, I don't like it. But look at all these other people having a good time. I can remove myself from it.
People are still putting the ones up. People still put the ones up.
Yeah. What about Jacob Fatu and Haku's other sons? Yeah, they're present. Kamatonga is Haku's son. Haku is one of the toughest men to ever lace up his boots. Jason Morris, do you think Cody will turn heel? Where is this coming from? I know
the Undertaker
said this, but like, why? Like, why would he turn heel now? And who is the big baby face to come up and then take that mantle? Who is that guy? I'm not saying they don't have somebody there, but I don't see someone right now, you know what I mean, who's going to be the big baby face that they need. And you've had a villain that people cheer, a Darth Vader cool guy villain in Roman for years.
I'll tell you, my coworker, this is where he sees Cody as a villain. He says, you remember Ric Flair, Ted DiBiase? They wore the 3-piece suits all the time. Yeah. I mean, he was like, Cody comes out there in the suit. I can see him turning into one of those guys. That was my coworker. I didn't say that, but he says he gets the heel vibes because he sees the heel vibes from
and I've heard other people say that. Like, oh, he's not relatable. He's wearing like the designer $1,500 suit or whatever. Yeah. Like, he's not relatable to the working man, you know? So like, but who knows? I digress. Here we go. Another one. Hyman B asking about Gunther. Where's Gunther going after WrestleMania? Well, it appears that Imperium as a faction is really broken up. Yeah. He's in this tournament, which is interesting. It does seem like he'll have Ludwig Kaiser at his side. Giovanni is off on his own. He got kicked out of the group. Hyman B he says, Gunther, soon to be a main eventer? Yes or no? I would look at Gunther being really, really strong in this tournament. I do think he can beat Sheamus. And I think Gunther is your best bet to get to the tournament, to really rev him up as a special big match attraction. And yeah, he lost the title, but now once he becomes the Ring King, not the king of the ring. No, he becomes the Ring King. I think that would be kind of interesting. The General King would be kind of cool. There's a lot of different things you can do with him. And I do think calling him a king is King Gunther. Like that has a pop to it, doesn't it? Right?
Yes.
And I know they've had some people where they put the king thing on him and it kind of fades and it isn't cool and they wear a goofy crown. But he already wears the robe. You know what I mean? Like he already has it. Now he just needs to chop his crown down, man. That's just kind of where, and I think that could be something where you build him up. And Cody's kind of alluded to that. But there's a big match between him and Cody down the line. Them fighting at SummerSlam, pretty cool. And if The Rock doesn't come back before WrestleMania, I think Gunther could be built up as the guy to chase Cody.
I agree. You beat me to it. I think Gunther is the well, I don't know if he's a favorite, but for me, my pick is Gunther in the King of the Ring tournament. I know that Drew McIntyre is looking strong as well. And we even have a comment from Cam saying that Gunther and McIntyre in the King of the Ring finals. I'm with you. And Cam says I couldn't because heels can't cry. Talking about Cody. but Cam also said Gunther and McIntyre in the King of the Ring finals. And
Heels
I agree
don't cry. Bad guys don't cry.
Bad guys don't cry.
Only Cody cries.
The Cody cry babies.
Cody cry. No more cry babies. No more tears. Call Triple H. Buy the rights to Ozzy Osbourne. No more tears.
There you go. But yeah, I'm with you. Gunther for my pick to win the King.
I was going to end the show 20 minutes ago, and then we got quiet. I'm sorry.
We're good.
We're good. You got a couple more? You got a couple more in you? Here we go.
I got a couple more in me.
David Trocchi, any news on NXT moving to their old building soon? This has been discussed. I haven't heard much traction on this. I know this was something that kind of popped up before WrestleMania, and there's been a lot of shuffling in terms of the talent that WWE has retained in the Performance Center. But in terms of what WWE is doing with next in line, bringing in very young college athletes and building them up. Tiffany Stratton is kind of the first real model of this. But you saw them do that with a bunch of different people, where they got somebody like a Braun Strowman, where they found the guy, he was built for wrestling. He has that turn your head in the airport test. You know, Tiffany is that too on the female side. Great gymnast, a lot of athleticism, incredible look, knows how to carry the microphone, and she's really running with the opportunities they were giving her. So people saying she's the next queen of the ring. Yeah, it's interesting. It could be something there too. So with NXT, though, all of these changes make me think that I think there's a solid chance they take something out of the Performance Center. By the time that show goes on the air in October on the CW network, I think it needs to look a little bit different. It can't look like us. It'll still be a studio show.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're getting around $60 to $70 million a year for it, which is a big increase, 70% increase on what they were getting from USA. But I do think the show has to look different, but it still has to be convenient in the sense of it being in one place. It's cheaper for them to run it. And I do think there's a chance they could maybe move to there was some talk of them going back, to the arena, the college arena space they were in before. And that could allow them to have a couple more hundred fans in there, but is it really worth it? I do think, don't you think they need to do something where they have a different look and feel? They also need to have more main roster show people on there. They're having a ton of them right now. Natalya was on there and she worked a whole angle that was just for NXT, and she's done that a handful of times.
Yeah, I love it when they bring, the main roster people into NXT, and it gives them more work as well. Sometimes they might not have a spot for them on TV that week, so they're like, hey, you know what? You've done a lot for us. We're going to put you down in NXT for a little bit, run an angle with you. I love when they do that, but yeah, I think that it does. Since they're going to be on a new network, they need to be a new presentation, be like, here we are, this is what we are now. And yeah, I agree with you there. Just a little different look. Wouldn't mind it going back to the center. I've never been there personally, but isn't that run out of Full Sail University or something?
Full Sail was where they ran before. They're in the Performance Center now. The Capital Wrestling Center is what they call it.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, but
I mean, they have the screens up. They would put fans on the screen.
Yeah,
like a little. So you'd see like augmented fans in front of real fans. That I didn't like.
I didn't like that
but it did look different, and it looked fun and exciting, and it looked cool. So they, especially during the pandemic. But now you can put that show in front of live fans more.
Yep,
that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you do it every week, but if WrestleMania week or pay-per-view week, I would love if they said, hey, something. Put it in front of live fans more. I just want to see it not in front of the same Orlando fans. And this is a shot at them because a lot of those same fans come all the time. They support it, you know?
Yeah.
But good on them here. Here we go. Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler unfortunately had a second stroke a few years ago. He's been with WWE on and off since 1992 for the most part.
Yeah.
And he's had a Hall of Fame career, one of the greatest wrestling names of all time, Jerry the King Lawler. But obviously that stroke affected his health and his ability to continue to be a sporadic on-screen commentator and broadcaster for WWE. His deal was recently not renewed, though I don't think that doesn't mean WWE is not going to take care of him or treat him well or honor his legacy in any way, because obviously they employed that guy well past his in-ring years for them, and he unfortunately had a heart attack in the ring for them too. That's not worth forgetting. Will Jerry Lawler join AEW and reunite with JR? I think he could have a moment or something like that there, but I mean, them on commentary in 2024, when I think there's enough young fans that have an issue with Jim Ross, who I think is one of the greatest broadcasters in the history of our business, that we follow here. People have been critical of JR's work, and I think they've been overly critical of JR's work. Yeah. But JR comes out for the pay-per-views, and he comes out and he works the pay-per-views and select television shows. Jerry coming out and having a moment with him on a pay-per-view would be fun. I think it'd be fun. I don't know if it'd be like they're going to be on TV all the time together, but that would be a fun moment. It's a very distinct possibility. I'm not writing it off.
Yeah, I'm all for it if, they want to call a match together at least.
Yeah.
And, just do something special like that. I could definitely see that happening. But then I see, Jerry, WWE is going to give him his flowers for sure. They already have, but I mean, they're going to definitely treat him right. I can see that.
Damon Schutz, who has an Oakland A's logo. Sorry for you, buddy. Tough times for you.
Better than Oakland.
It's a team that is absolutely fooled the audience in NorCal, who just the owner there is really he has bought billions and billions of dollars of bad will. So
coming to Sacramento. They're going to be playing.
Yeah, they're coming to your town, aren't they?
Yeah, the AAA stadium in Sacramento is where they're going to be.
How do you feel about that? Because for those who don't know, the Oakland A's are the Major League Baseball team in Oakland, California, who've been there for decades and decades and decades. And they wanted a new stadium, and they wanted it paid for by Oakland, or at least a majority of it paid for by Oakland, for that matter, to be clear. And they didn't get it. And there was a chance for them to at least stay in the space they're in for a couple more years before they go down to Las Vegas and become the Vegas Athletics. Maybe?
Yeah.
So now they're just going to be the A's. They're not even going to be the Sacramento A's. They're just going to be the A's.
Yeah.
And they're going to move to a minor league baseball stadium for a few years in Sacramento, California, down the road. Not too far from Oakland. How far is that from Oakland?
Not far at all. It's like hour and a half. It depends on the traffic. Depends on the traffic.
What do you think of this?
Couple hours.
Quickly, what do you think? I know the wrestling fans are. Yeah. He's like, I like it. I'm in Oakland. He's with it. He's in Florida. He's with you.
I feel the same. I'm not an A's fan, so I'm all about bringing a major league baseball team to Sacramento. But yeah, I feel for the A's fans.
You feel the stink of this, though.
Yeah, I definitely feel.
You feel the stink of it. There's some stink on this.
They could have stayed in Oakland. I mean, for the last 2 years.
You had fans in Oakland,
who
the boycott of that team.
Yeah,
incredible to watch and follow.
Yeah,
so I think you're gonna have more of that in Sacramento. There's my take. His question though: who in NXT do you both see next or will come to the main roster? Well, they just pulled up a bunch of different people: Ilya Dragunov, Dijak, Ela Valkyrie, who I'm very, very Lyra Valkyrie. Excuse me. I was very, very happy for her. I got to interview at WrestleMania. Yeah. She has a good head on her shoulders. Just really centered person. Sometimes you meet people and you're like, oh, they're frazzled. Man, it's just the day you're interviewing. She was very centered, very, 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 very specific about her answers and everything like that.
Nice.
And the way Shawn Michaels spoke of her, never bad when Shawn Michaels speaks very well of you. Obviously, he's an influential character, but NXT loses some people. Now they have to shuffle their deck a little bit. Mike, I don't want to answer your question with a question, but it makes me think, well, who's going to NXT now? like who from NXT? We saw the shuffling with ring announcers right now. Mike Rome is ring announcer on the main roster now. He's going to go down to NXT. He's going to have a tour duty there. So it'll be interesting here. People saying the NXT Women's North American Championship. You'll see some main roster women, I think, compete for that. I know they're introducing it as that's a mid-card women's title. First time WWE's ever done that. They've always had women's championships. They remember had like an intercontinental level title. And you have to make that title mean something. Can't just have anyone, compete for it. I think someone on the roster there, Thea Trinidad. She's a whole ball of energy, small, different look, a different feeling, different temperament. If she gets a run with that North American Women's Championship, she can really make it something special. I don't know if she's ready for the women's title right now, but it'd be interesting to see where that goes. There's plenty of gentlemen you could pull up right now. Trick Williams, though, is red hot. And you got to keep some people. Carmelo Hayes, he just got called up, but we saw that coming a mile away, especially when business was done between him and Carmelo. So you just got to build some new characters up. And NXT is all about building up new people who feel fresh, who are going to have something big. Who are those people? This is my favorite time to watch NXT, by the way, because then it's like, it's not back to zero, but it's like really like hard reboot. Like coming out of spring break, and it was like, oh, they're really going to have to get like a bunch of new people built up and ready to go here.
Yeah. It's a fun time. Another name that I'll throw out there that has made some appearances, Roxanne Perez.
Yeah.
Roxanne Perez, another great wrestler. She's showed her talents. I think, she can be up there with the main roster, but
didn't she get called up? I think she just got called up, didn't she?
Did she? She got called up? Okay. Yeah. See, I didn't see that.
Hard to keep track.
Yeah. She wasn't on the main show draft, I guess.
No, they had their extra ones. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. I'm rooting for them. Hope it goes well.
Yeah.
So that's about it for us today. We had a full show. I wanted to get off air 20 minutes ago, and I saw you guys asking questions and all those different things here. So thank you guys so much for supporting the show. I really appreciate it. If you're with us this far here, do you guys see Mandy Rose coming back anytime soon? No, I don't. I think she makes enough money doing what she's doing right now, but she didn't write it out. She never said no. She never said no to the idea of doing it. But I do think she's somebody who knows it. She's still buttering her bread, being a very influential character on the internet in her own way. And good on her for doing that, by the way.
Yeah, definitely.
No judgment on that, by the way. She was doing well. So Nick, if they want to follow you, where do they go, bud?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Nick_Harksen. That's NICK_HARKSEN.
Mm-hmm. You and I have been very busy with voiceovers lately for Sportskeeda Wrestling on YouTube.
Yes.
I just did the Rise and Fall of Jinder Mahal in WWE. That is up. You just dropped a couple of big videos, including the best of AEW, the unexpected rise of the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. Those videos are up on our channel right now, where we're really digging into that. People talking about releases as well. We look at what happened to everyone who was released by WWE in 2023 and where they are now in the wrestling business. So a lot to cover. You can also hear him on the shorts as well. If you're just a shorts person who can only pay attention for 10 seconds, you can go check that out. If you enjoy the show in video form, get us in audio form. We're available on Spotify. We're available on all the different podcasting apps. And if you're listening there and you've already listened for an hour and 7 minutes, why haven't you just given us a 5-star rating? I really appreciate that.
Yes.
That same audio feed, by the way, just to make it a little bit easier, has Vince Russo, has Bill Apter, has Teddy Long, has Dutch Mantel every single week. Plus, we try to put audio up there almost 7 days a week. If we don't have it up 7 days a week, you'll see like a big drop of audio in one day. So definitely go give it a follow, especially for the audio people if it's a little bit more passive, all those different things.
Yeah,
I'm so busy. I am a busy boy. Roast Battle Chicago just dropped a full special. You can watch a 3-hour mega show of my comedy show where people make fun of each other in person at Zany's Comedy Club. That is up on YouTube. You can watch that for free. And I'm busy with Q101. Great alternative rock radio show in Chicago. We just announced our big picnic festival, the Taste of Randolph. Picnic at the Taste of Randolph. It's going to go down June 14th, 15th, and 16th. Details at Q101.com. That's Q101.com. Thank you to all the people that help us out. So all those good things. Nick.
Yes, sir.
I believe it's time for me to let you go because you've been giving me the look of, hey, dude.
No, I'm not trying to. And if I have, I'm sorry.
I'm busting your chops.
I worked overnight last night, so I'm on a few hours of sleep. So I apologize. If I'm giving any looks, it's not intentional. I'm just delirious over here. That's all it is.
You're gonna put on a mask?
Yeah,
Ring of Honor, mid 2000s, baby. Mid 2000s. I gotta ask a question. When all these people they're complaining about the wrestling, and it's not this, it's not that, it's not this, it's not that, it's not this, it's not that. What is it? What are they supposed to do?
enjoy wrestling.